My name is Mark Nelson. I am from Oklahoma in the United States of America. I studied nuclear engineering in grad school in the UK and then graduated to go find a job in the post-Fukushima Daiichi nuclear plant job meltdown. So gentlemen, I've given a little bitty intro my style. If you could extremely briefly just say where you're from, how long you've been, well, like in California, and then I'm going to want you to just mention a little about how you started your clean energy journey.
Thank you, Mark. My name is Ryan Pickering from Berkeley, California. Growing up in California, we love solar panels. It's kind of in our nature. It makes sense to us intrinsically. And when I was in college, we saw Inconvenient Truth, and it kind of just lit a match. And I wanted to get involved. So I started building rooftop solar power systems when I was 20 years old, spent a 13-year career in that. Really felt like we were making a difference, and we certainly were. It went from this thing that was almost this magical act on your roof to something that now is mass market adoption. The deeper I got into the 100% renewable energy vision, the more I started to question that. And with the closure of Diablo Canyon, something snapped in me.
Wait. So there's one nuclear power plant left in California. It's Diablo Canyon. It's about half the size of Baraka nuclear plant, which is here in our COP28 host, UAE. Can you mention why was this closing?
There's a book being written about it now, but in short, there was a feeling that we didn't need nuclear energy anymore because the growth of wind, solar, energy storage, and other renewables was so rapidly displacing it. But as the deadline continued to approach, we realized we did indeed need Diablo, not just for its clean energy attributes, its very real physical attributes and the inertia it provides to the California grid. So that's when I changed my mind about nuclear energy. Now I'm working to bring the swagger that we have from the solar industry over to California nuclear in order to legalize nuclear energy in California, legalize it in Berkeley, where it's also illegal at a city level, and really help the United States get back in the game.
You mentioned nuclear, like Diablo Canyon provides grid inertia. I think, could you describe maybe a crucial moment in August 2020 when important leaders in California suddenly discovered grid inertia and the wisdom of nuclear in a heavy solar champion?
In California, we have a cost of living crisis. And I don't think that what happened in California would be happening if we didn't have the most expensive electricity in the continental United States. And so when we're trying to maintain our civil society, we know that the cost of energy dictates the cost of everything. And so the scrutiny started to ramp up. Renewables have been promised to be quite cheap. Here we are paying the highest cost and having the most renewables. So something wasn't adding up. Our leaders started to look into that as well. But it was really this small advocacy community calling into the California Public Utilities Commission, calling into the California Energy Commission, and making our voices heard and saying, we need affordable energy, we need reliable energy, we need sustainable energy. Why are we closing a nuclear power plant that has 40 years left on its operating life? It didn't make any sense. And that's when a lot of folks got the oxygen to come out of the woodwork to change their mind about nuclear energy or speak up about nuclear energy for the first time. And sure, there was only a few voices on the first calls, but by the end, once we saved Diablo, there were hundreds of people calling in saying that we need to keep these resources online. And now the natural next step is, okay, we've saved Diablo. It's only been extended for 5 years, but we're working on 20 years, working on 40 years. But if Diablo makes sense, why wouldn't we build more? And that's why we're working to repeal our moratorium so that we can build more nuclear energy in California. We were a leader in nuclear energy. We had 16 gigawatts planned of nuclear energy in California, a dream that we've forgotten about, and it's time for us to rediscover that dream.
Ryan, can you tell us a little bit about the situation you found with the anti-nuclear movement in California when you suddenly discovered that Diablo Canyon, this beautiful nuclear plant, was being shut down on a grid that was already experiencing wobbling, cracking, creaking, chaos, and extremely high prices? What did you hear when you talked to well-meaning people who wanted the opposite of you, but for a sustainable world? What were your conversations like? You're one of the most diplomatic people I know, and I'm sure you were able to have conversations with people who wanted to shut down the nuclear plant that you suddenly believed in with your whole heart.
Yeah, the conversations were exciting because we're aligned in our goals. And, California's an exciting place to be because we're very open minded people. And I decided that if we can find some room in the center, have a less contentious debate, and one that renewables and nuclear can work together, oh, there's endless opportunity there. And sure, there are some paid anti nuclear advocates, activists that we all know. And that's okay. Everyone's trying to get a paycheck. But at the end of the day, we saw public opinion switch in a meaningful way. And it's because of the failures of the nuclear industry to not go all the way to the people and really make this comprehensible. And solar has done that, and maybe solar benefits from its simplicity. The nuclear industry is hidden, and we still have this problem with our nuclear power plant. They're learning to talk to the public, but they're still talking about safety, 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 and freaking everyone out. And, it's our job as science communicators to come in and foster a line of communication. And I find what's most effective as a nuclear advocate is just asking what their perspective on nuclear energy is. I feel like often we come in and we say, yeah, we just freak out on people and it just goes right over their head. Instead, say like, oh, do you have a perspective about nuclear energy? And they'll tell you exactly what they want to hear. And then we can have that conversation. But you have to be the bigger person. You have to kind of take a deep breath, let it wash over you. And so I'm really grateful to California, and I look forward to for California to regain our nuclear leadership around the world.
Thank you, everyone, for 60 minutes of hand-waving DC technical terms, haranguing the nuclear industry that sponsors our pavilion, and describing a world where each COP we get stronger in our knowledge and our conversations, and we achieve what we already know is physically possible, which is a clean world that stops climate change and has enough for everybody while protecting nature. Gentlemen, cannot thank you enough for letting me abuse you this way.
Thank you, Mark.
For a full hour, and I hope you hang around and answer any questions that people have.